Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Inside Guns with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. I'm sure a lot of you out there have heard that Alec Baldwin is very concerned for everybody's safety when it comes to firearms. In fact, he's been calling for a lot of firearm law reform, that we need stricter regulations. He believes that the government needs to do something to protect people, to keep them from dying at the end of a gun. And I'll tell you what, I 100% agree with him that the government could do something. And I would say that the one thing they could do that would definitely make people safer is lock up Alec Baldwin. I mean, I've never killed an innocent civilian. Have you ever killed an innocent civilian? I don't think you have. In fact, I'd be willing to say that 99+% of gun owners have never killed an innocent person, period. Alec Baldwin has killed at least one that we know of. And how many times more is one than zero? How many times we have to multiply zero, which is the number of times most gun owners have killed someone, to get to one? 50 times zero is still zero. So I guess we could safely say that it's more than 50 times. So if we look at it mathematically, the way they do statistics, I would say that you're more than 50 times more likely to be killed by Alec Baldwin than by most gun owners. So why haven't they locked him up? It seems like he's a clear and present danger to society. You can use numbers to show it, math, statistics here to show it. Now, of course, what I'm saying doesn't really make a lot of sense mathematically, because you're not taking everything into account. You're trying to take a complex set of circumstances and boil it down into one little mathematical equation to prove a point. That's what I was doing. But that's what people who are anti-gun do all the time when they say things like, oh, if you have a gun in the home, you're a lot more likely that it's used on you than you use it on someone else. Well, yeah, that's because most people aren't going around murdering each other with their guns, but there is, unfortunately, a small number of people. It's not a small number. It's like 60% of all the people who die by gunfire every year in the United States, but it's a small percentage of the population commit suicide. And that number of people that commit suicide is much higher than the number of gun owners that shoot an intruder. So therefore, they twist the math and make it look like, oh, it's dangerous to own a gun. They also say things like, people that have a gun in their home are 10 times more likely to be shot with their own gun than people who don't own one. Well, of course that's true. If you don't own a gun, you can't be shot with your own gun. So the few, like I said, the suicides, the domestic violence issues that bring guns into play, those will far outnumber the number of people that are shot with their own gun that don't own any, because that's going to be zero. So it's not going to happen. You see how they love to play with numbers. Now, they never say that if you have a handgun in your home, you're more likely to be the victim of violence or the victim of an attack or an intruder, because that would not be true. The vast majority of people that are harmed in their home by an intruder or a friend that comes over or anyone didn't have a firearm, and the firearm wasn't used in an attack. Sometimes the bad guy will have a firearm, but not usually even then. But sometimes they will. But those people generally don't have a gun themselves. So there is no such statistics that show having a gun in your house makes you less safe, period. They just have to use these special little wordings and twistings like I did at the beginning of this video. It's like saying, if you have a pool in your backyard, you're 10 times more likely to drown in your own pool than someone who doesn't have a pool in their yard. That makes sense, right? If you don't have a pool in your yard, you're not very likely to drown in your own pool. If you do have a pool in your yard, even though the chances is almost zero if you're an adult, because it almost never happens, it's still greater than if you don't have a pool. But does that mean that the person who doesn't own a pool is less likely to drown? No, it doesn't. Because most drownings occur at public pools or the beach, the ocean, bathtubs even. So when it comes to adults, no, that adult is not safer or safe from drowning simply because they don't have a pool in their yard. They're just not likely to drown in their own pool. In fact, I wouldn't even be able to say that you're more likely to drown in a pool, period, if you have a pool. Now, kids are. Your kids are more likely to drown in a pool if you own one than if you don't, because kids are usually with you, and if you don't have a pool, they're not usually around one. But still, kids don't usually drown in their own pool. They usually drown at the beach, rivers, etc. We have a lot of drownings here where I'm from because we have the Willamette River, the Columbia River, the Sandy River. We got a lot of places people love to swim. People die every year. The Washougal River. I think 4 people drowned down there last year. People drowned all the time, but it's usually in a public place. So you can see how that pool statistic is warped. And it's the same thing with guns. They do the exact same thing. So stop letting people use bad math as arguments, because I just showed you how math can be used to make you think something that isn't true. Statistics are great, and statistics tell us a lot about the world around us, and people who honestly compile complex statistics, that's a great thing. But too many people have an agenda. They have something they want to prove, and they will search for the numbers that prove that, whether those numbers are valid or tell you the whole story or not. A lot of studies love to come out that are all just correlation. Even if they don't use weird wording, they'll just use correlation. So pay attention with studies. It's like when they'll say something like, oh, kids that have a set bedtime tend to do better in school than kids that don't have a set bedtime. Well, there's no causation there. Going to bed at a certain hour doesn't make you better at school. The factor is the kids that had a set bedtime usually have better supervision. They have 2 parents in the home, and they're more likely to have people in the home that help them with their homework. Those are other factors that they left out of the original statement to make it seem like, oh, if you put your kid to bed at 9 o'clock every night, they will get better grades. No, it's just correlation. It just so happens that kids that have 2 parents in the home get better help with their homework, but they're also put to bed at a regular time more often. So that going to bed had nothing to do with how good they did in school, but they made it look like it did. So pay attention when people give you figures. Make sure how it's worded. Look it up. If you've got arguments people have been using against you, look up how they word it. Like I said, are they telling you the whole picture, or are they taking a little snippet to make you think something that isn't true? Because you saw in the beginning here how it was very easy for me to make it seem like it's far more likely that Alec Baldwin is going to come kill you, when he's probably not. He's probably done killing for now. So you're probably safe from Alec Baldwin. But I still do believe they should lock him up. All right, everybody, that's it for me today. Before I go, though, I want to remind everyone that tonight is the friend drawing. So if you have been registered for the friend drawing, either by doing super chats in the live chats, or by being a patron, or a starlet over on Subscribestar, which I still ain't got Subscribestar working. It doesn't gather any money. It doesn't do auto pay. It's just driving me crazy. But if you have been in the super chat and done super chats, or you're a patron, or you're a WAP member, and you're registered for the friend drawing, well, that will be held tonight. So if you want to come on over, it's at 6 p.m. Pacific time. I do a live chat every night. So I give you all a chance every day to come in and either ask me a question, suggest a topic, or tell me I'm full of shit. I'll even let you come on live on the air and tell me I'm full of shit. We do slap the yank, although people have said I need to change it to spank the yank, and that does sound better, but it also sounds kind of sexual, so I don't know if I'll do that or not. But we'll see. Maybe I will. You never know what I'm going to do. I'm unpredictable. I'm a wild card. Remember, I'm the, I'm the bane of the gun community, according to some higher-ups in the NRA, etc., whose names I won't mention. But I'm also an irritant, and what else is it they say about me? I forget. They say so many nasty things about me, but as long as they're talking about me, awesome. You notice they don't come talk to me, but still, better to be talked about than not talked about it, talked bad about than not be talked about at all. But like I said, I do the chat every night. It's different times on Monday and Wednesday than it is the rest of the week, but it's 6 p.m. usually, 5 p.m. on those other days. That's Pacific time. So if you're registered for the friend drawing, we're going to be doing it tonight at the live chat. So come on over and see if you won. Remember, if you win the friend drawing, you get to be the friend for the entire month, and you get to spend a gift certificate worth up to $800 wherever you want to spend it. I've had people buy guitars, pay for dental bills. I've had people pay off credit cards. People buy guns. People buy ammo. You know, whatever it is you want to spend it on, it's your money to spend. It's basically a cash prize for being a supporter of the channel. So if you're registered, like I said, come on over tonight, see if you won, and join us for some wholesome, good old America Guns and Freedom chat. And like I said, just enjoy the conversation with other like-minded individuals and maybe see if you want a gift certificate. And with that being said, that's it for me today. I hope you all enjoyed the show. I do appreciate you coming, and I hope you come back again tomorrow. Until then, remember, always carry, especially if Alec Baldwin's going to be around, and stay safe until I see you again.